Hey guys, what's going on? So I'm gonna put it on black and white because what we're talking about today is the dark side of spirituality. As part of my series that we're talking about demons, and stuff that no one wants to talk about. It's usually in our subconscious mind, but we need to talk about it so that we can be healed and be free. We can create a plan of action so that we can be healed, and the goal is to be whole. That is the total goal, is to be whole. Don't you want to be whole? Don't you want to stop these negative thoughts in your head that's keeping you from finding joy, peace in this world? Because money it's not going to make you happy. These new jobs and these new titles are not going to make you happy if you still are tormented by things that have happened to you in the past, by people that you trusted, family trusted, and so forth. So I'm going to go on, because usually I'll wait for people, but I'm not going to wait for people because, well, you guys can catch me later. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about what happens through sexual intercourse, rape, molestation, incest, and things that nobody really want to talk about. Now, mind you, most people who molest children were most likely molested themselves. And if they don't work those things out, they're tormented day and night when they see other children, innocent children, and they feel compelled to have sex with them because the dark entity and the spirits that are in them they want to release, they want to dump. They're thinking that they're going to dump and not have these urges anymore. But they are strong because they have created, they haven't addressed their trauma, they haven't forgiven, and they haven't learned to change their behavior. And you have to change your behavior when you're accepted by spirits. First of all, most molestation happens in secrecy. And because of that secrecy, there's no healing. There's a lot of shame that opens up doorways for other things. And what happens is you become bound in your mind with these secrets, with these lies, this mistrust, this shame. You're tormented 24 hours a day. And if you know any child molesters or people, if you've been molested, you know what the shame feels like and not being able to talk about it and how it consumes your brain. The next thing I'm going to talk about is people who are and so the main thing is that there are transference of spirits. That's what I really want to say, is that when this occurs, they're transferring a spirit to you. There are multitudes of spirits, and they need hosts. So host means home, body, okay? This stuff is biblical, but even if you don't believe in Christ, you have to know that there are dark entities that need homes. That's what they want. They need a home, your body, okay? So another thing is, see what happens. So rape, most of the perpetrators are tormented by spirits as well. That they're different spirits because a lot of them, they like blood, they like fear, and they like to create trauma. And most of these people who are racist, not racist, this has nothing to do with racist, but those who are rapists were probably molested or hurt themselves. But whatever's consumed with them likes pain, they like fear, they like terror. Okay, they like to create trauma in other people, feed off that trauma. And so once you are raped, the first thing that happens is shame. Once again, guilt. Why me? And what happens? You get this loop in your head over and over and over again. You're consumed. That if you don't get healing, which by the way, healing is first of all saying, "Hey, I was raped. I need help." And being maybe getting therapy or someone that's going to help you, guide you through what happened to you, and that you can learn to forgive that person. And if you're a spiritual person, you forgive them because that person, like I said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Some of these people are totally possessed and they have dark spirits in them. If we can see it from that way, instead of saying that this person is evil, then it's easy for us to forgive them, because what happens is we end up becoming the perpetrator and the person that harmed us. That is why it's very important to forgive, because when people hurt you and you don't forgive them, guess what? You end up becoming a perpetrator. You ever notice that when people who've been hurt, Next you know, they're acting just like the person that hurt them. It is, poisonous, okay? What's another one I was going to say? And actually with sex workers, they attract all types of people who may be tormented by all types of sex spirits. They're tormented 24 hours a day, by the way. These people cannot stop talking about sex. I mean, they can't stop these sexual urges. They want to stop it. They're ashamed by it. They're watching porn all the time. And when it gets to a point of the sex addiction, it is not fun. They are tormented by it. And I'm talking about demons. So I'm going to say that there are spirits in their mind telling them you need to release. And they're thinking that these are thoughts in their head. But what's going on is, listen, they're not their own thoughts. They have unclean spirits in them. So what happens? So they go to sex workers, and unfortunately, they're dumping on these sex workers, these prostitutes and people in the certain lifestyle. And a lot of the sex workers themselves, they were probably molested, raped, incestuous. So it's a cycle that's going on. And everyone needs to be healed if they want to break the cycle. But many people, especially these, like I'm saying, these spirits, these demons, they don't want you to heal. If you heal, they have nowhere to hide. Where are they going to hide if they can't control your mind? Like I said in my other video, the soul equals the mind, the emotion, and the will. If they can break those, they can have total, not possession, but they can have a lot of control over your mind and your decision making. And they will undermine anything that you try to do that will free yourself. They'll torment you in your dreams. Your mind is divided constantly. Your voice and their voice, is constantly going back and forth. So I'm telling you this because I have tons of people in my inbox, and they're not being outright about it because they're ashamed about what happened to them. But the truth is, trauma is the stronghold. If you ever look up stronghold, it is the stronghold that allows them to have bondage over your mind. Because the trauma, when people in trauma, they live in shame. And they're in their own head. And these spirits can put loops and loops, and you're not worth it. You haven't seen, there's people who are beautiful and talented. They don't even see it because the spirit or demon that's in them is telling them you're ugly, you're not worth it. And so these people are continuing this cycle of self-harm. You ever met people that are totally beautiful and they don't want to live and kill themselves because they are essentially influenced by spirits? I mean, and I get messages, people telling me, I can't believe this. I don't believe it. I've never been, I've never seen it. And I have seen spirits. I have felt spirits. In fact, when I was doing psychic works, people come to me because they knew that I was going to be able to identify things in them and tell them about themselves without judgment. Also, my mental health background. I can sense after a while, I started to see this theme. There is a world out there, is a spiritual world and the human world. You don't believe in a spiritual world doesn't mean it does not exist. So basically what I'm trying to say, I'm going to break it down once again. Transference of spirits do happen through sex. Have you ever had sex with someone and felt totally dirty afterwards? Disgusting. Just totally disgusting. It may take you a while to stop thinking about that person. You feel hooked in. Well, guess what? You have soul ties with some of these people. Hooks in you. They hook you and you can't stop thinking about this person. You're obsessed with them because you are connected with them by an invisible cord. So you have to learn how to cancel those agreements with those people when you have sex. So we live in a world now where there's a lot of promiscuity and people, anything goes. And sure, we can do whatever we want to do. There are consequences to that. That's what I'm saying. The consequences is you get infected by spirits. These people that you're dealing with, you have no idea who they had sex with. No, and I'm just saying, so many people I meet, I talk to them, and sometimes I'm not even talking to them. I'm talking to their spirits. And some of them have more than one of them. And so we do have people who go to, they go to get therapy and so forth. But the truth, we have to learn how to forgive, because once you learn how to forgive, they can't, they have no stronghold over you anymore. They can't hide behind your trauma. Once trauma is healed, those spirits have nowhere to live. They're gonna have to leave or find another way to control you. Okay, so that is my spiritual discussion today on, sexual spirits. Yesterday I was talking about incubus and succubus, which are spirits who, they're like husband wives, or wife spiritual wives. Those, you have relationships with those spirits and so forth. So at first I thought I would make these videos because I thought people would judge me and so forth. But like I said, the Only Advocate project that I had, most of my inboxes were people who admitted that they believed they were filled with evil spirits because of sexual trauma, rape. And I was just like, oh my God, I've just opened up a whole gateway here. And this is from men and women. Men telling me that I've been infected and I can't get out of it. I'm unclean. And they're going around these swinger parties and infecting other people. And it's just not STDs. It's anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about it. I just want you guys to know you all have a choice to do whatever you want to do. But please understand that we are humans in a spiritual world. A lot of these spirits, they need a host. They want a home. They're jealous of us that we actually can create. We have so much more flexibility than they do because they live in a spiritual world. They are jealous of us. And the one thing that they have there's certain legal rules that they can't, there's certain spiritual legal rules that they're bound by. So that's why they have to trick us into believing that their thoughts are our thoughts. So that's one of the rules that, when you're dealing with Jesus, okay, he gives free will. The other gods, they don't give much free will. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why I chose Jesus, because he gives me free will. He's not harassing me. He ain't telling me go out there and hurt nobody. But say, for example, I started praying to other gods. You wake up in the morning and they saying, I want you to sacrifice this. You're going to sacrifice this. You're going to do this. Okay? And people don't learn about that until it's too late, when they are just totally so deep into the game that they find themselves like thinking, okay, maybe I should go back to Christ, because like I said, Christ, the Father God of Christ, is the comforter, and he gives you free will. You can do whatever you want to do. Of course, there are consequences. Other God and spirits, they don't give you any choice whatsoever. They totally possess you, and you end up being basically their slaves. So don't believe in all this stuff. If you start worshiping ancestral gods, that you're going to be more powerful and so forth, you're going to be their fucking, excuse my language, but you're going to be their slaves. That's the whole gig, is you end up being their slaves. They'll do a few favors for you, but eventually you become their slaves. And if you ever do research on the ancient gods, they weren't really nice gods, okay? I mean, they demanded blood sacrifice, and they still do. Anyway, I got off topic because I was really not supposed to be talking about ancient gods and all that stuff. Really was talking about sex and the spirits that attack people through sex. And inbox me if you have any more questions. Share this to people who who suffer and are tormented by sex crimes. I hope it can help them. The church doesn't really talk about this stuff anymore, or very judgmental. And I believe that we can't judge people. We have to help them forgive and understand what's really going on. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, your inboxes, because it's encouraging me to let me know that this is, whether I want to do it or not, this is one thing that God put me on this earth, which is to help people with clarity and help them be healed. So anyway, I love you guys. Have a good day.